What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 315.1, our summer report with Oak Hill basketball head coach Kevin Renbarger, co-hosted by Grant Shouse.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Grant, just based on the players that Oak Hill had coming back from last year's varsity roster, going to be an awfully good team next year. And then you throw in a couple of newcomers, and it changes everything. The expectations are super high for Oak Hill and Coach Renbarger heading into this season.
Yeah, Greg, they get to add one of the best freshmen in the state. Like I'm talking top 3 in his class, and Will Tonigal. Then they get Eastbrook's leading scorer and Jaden Younts to move over to Oak Hill. He averaged 12 a game at Eastbrook last year,
and showed signs of being a great player.
Yeah, and then you add in the fact that you return R.J. Shugart for his senior year. He was a double-figure scorer. And then you add in your best player who averages around 20 points a night in Jace Tonigal. He's going to be back as well for his junior year. Not to mention, only one of those guys I talk about is going to be a senior, and that's R.J. Shugart. Will Tonigal's still a freshman. Younts is going to be a junior, and Jace Tonigal is going to be a junior. So there's expectations going into the next year in Class 2A in terms of maybe making a deep run. If the summer for that Oak Hill team is any indication of that, then they're going to have a good year next year. And this is a program that is currently, as we speak, Greg, on a missions trip down in Jamaica, building houses down in Jamaica. I can't think of any program in the state, no matter the size of the school, that goes on a mission trip like that, you know what I mean, and does those kind of things. Just goes to show the championship level culture that Oak Hill's trying to build there. And I say that because I'm an alum, and I'm a little biased because I've been around the program my entire life, but they're building good things there. And I'm telling you, about midway through the year, around late December, early January, it's going to be tough to get a seat at any Oak Hill game, whether it's home or on the road.
Buy your season tickets now, people.
Absolutely. Get those season passes, and the traditionalists that have always been there at those games will, but you're going to see people coming out of the woodworks, not just Oak Hill people, but high school basketball fans in general.
And college recruits. And let's not forget, Grant, there's also Beckham Lamb is also coming back. Landon Cruzen also coming back. It's not just those 4 guys.
I feel bad. I feel bad because I didn't get to mention them, because those are all key contributors, and there's others that we just don't have enough time to talk about as well. But they're going to do good things this year, and going on that trip that they're on right now in a foreign country is certainly going to help them in the long run, not just as a basketball team, because they're not playing down there. They're bonding, they're being together. It's the camaraderie. You'll see teams that'll, maybe take a trip to Holiday World. Like I know Coach Brobson and Frankton have done that, and they'll go sightseeing, and that also builds camaraderie, and that's a good thing to do. But to go down there and be away basically from this lifestyle that we all live in for a week, it definitely can change people, and it's going to change that team for sure. It's definitely going to help them in the long run. Really am excited to see what they can do.
And here is Grant and my conversation with Coach Renbarger. Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report, Coach Kevin Renbarger. Appreciate your time. We saw you in the summer league over last weekend in Hamilton County, and the rumor around is that the Golden Eagles are awfully good. Tell us how it went over the weekend.
I mean, I think we've had a pretty good summer overall. We've played 16 games, and I think we finished 13-3. And, more importantly, we've played some pretty high-level competition. We played Floyd Central and Guerin Catholic and Indy Washington. And then, obviously, Lafayette Jeff, some other schools I'm sure I'm forgetting at this point. But we've played a lot of really, really good competition. It culminated in the Charlie Hughes shootout this weekend. We really just one last-second shot away from being 4-0 against some, again, all Indianapolis schools, pretty high-quality schools. Had a nice come-from-behind win on Friday night. Really impressed with that one because we didn't shoot the ball particularly well. In fact, we didn't shoot it well at all. I think we were something like 8 of 35 from three-point range and had to find other ways to win. Came back and won in double overtime. So, finished it off with a pretty convincing win against Crispus Attucks on Sunday morning. So, as we're going into July, I feel like we've had a really, really good summer.
Coach, what's been the most impressive thing about your team that you've seen so far?
I think this probably is the hardest working, scrappiest group of players that I've had during a summertime. One of the things that you kind of fight is this summer ball mentality. But these guys really, really get after it, particularly on the defensive end. We've had a number of coaches come up and, kind of compliment how hard the kids play, how scrappy they are, the style of play. They've meshed really well together. I don't think it's any secret at this point. We've got two very new contributors to the basketball team. Both of them have meshed extremely well. I don't see any egos at this point kind of shining through. So I think they've figured out a path or an equation to how they can be successful in the wintertime and have really bought into it. So, all of the intangibles, I think more than anything, everybody knows the skill level that some of our kids have. So it's going to depend on a lot of the intangible type things. And so far, so good in regards to buying into all of those things.
Who's taken the biggest leap for you so far?
Jace Tonigal, without a doubt.
Okay.
It'd be kind of hard to say, maybe surprising in regards to, he was our leading scorer, leading rebounder, leading assist, leading everything for us. He's, he was on the futures game to begin the month. So, it's kind of surprising maybe to hear that. But I think with the addition of Will Tonigal and then also Jaden Yance and what RJ Shugart was able to provide last year and then showing that he can provide it again this year, it's taken a lot of pressure off of Jace where he can play a little bit more free. We played Guerin Catholic, I don't know, it was probably last Saturday, beat him by 30. And he dominated. He dominated. He has done that really from the beginning. The games that again, it's still a barometer. The games that he doesn't play well, we don't necessarily play well. He struggled mightily against Park Tudor with his shooting, and we won in double overtime. He played a tremendous basketball game against Attucks, and we won by 30 against Guerin Catholic, as I said, and we won by 30. So he's really taken a leap, but again, I think that has a lot to do with the contribution of other kids around him that makes him feel a little bit more free.
Talk about how playing in the summer is going to help you for your schedule next year. You've kind of beefed it up with the additions of Zionsville, Homestead, and now Marion is a late add to the schedule. But how can this summer prepare you for the next upcoming season?
With this particular group, they're not new. I say that, but Will and Jaden are new, but they've played basketball before. So it's not like we have to spend a lot of time getting to know each other. They're a seasoned veteran group, and they're in a position now to be challenged, I think. Both challenged as a basketball team and then individually challenged is how we're going to get better. It doesn't hurt us to try to take our lumps and find out, some games where some weaknesses might occur. We had some issues against Brebeuf and lost by 2, and we had some issues with Roncalli and their size. And so it didn't hurt to take a look at those things and put in the back of the coaching staff's minds what are the areas that we're going to need to improve upon to be successful in the regular season and beyond the regular season. So we just felt like it was time. We're in a window now. We feel like we're in a window. We'll find out. But barring any injury or setbacks or, transfers out, to be candidly honest, we're in a window right now where this group needs to be challenged on a regular basis and beyond just the challenge of conference play and playing county teams. And so we've worked really hard and we'll continue to work to improve that out of conference, non-conference schedule, I guess, to give our kids the best opportunity at individual and team improvement.
One of the cool things you guys are going to get to do soon is take your team down to Jamaica next week.
Whoa.
What's that going to be like for you?
Well, a lot of that, Grant, doesn't have much to do with basketball.
Right.
It's a missions trip. And so, all of the areas that go into a missions trip, we'll be fortunate enough to build 2 homes for, families in need in Jamaica while we're there. And obviously there is a small bit of, kind of team bonding. This team is very, very close already. And we're going to spend a week together in Jamaica, when the conditions aren't exactly ideal, very hot, no air conditioning, and no hot running water, along with a lot of other challenges. So I'm very interested to see how each one of them are going to kind of challenge their comfort level, either through physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, which is really the reason why that we're down there. But it's something we've had an opportunity to do twice before. I think it was 2012 or somewhere around in there. We took a team to Belize. And then about 6 years ago, we went to Jamaica, and now we're going back. So it's something that doesn't happen very often. At the stage of my career, this might be the last time that we do it, but we're certainly looking forward to it. It's something that's been circled on our calendar for a long time. And, we leave this Saturday, and we'll return the following Saturday. So if anybody that's out there that is willing, we will certainly accept any prayers for safe travel and growth as individuals.
Sounds like an incredible trip, Coach. Obviously, you knew one of the newcomers coming in to the season you were going to have when you heard that Jaden Younts was transferring to Oak Hill. How much did the expectations start to change in your head?
I don't know that we could get any more higher expectations. Everybody's known Will Tonigal since Will Tonigal was in 5th grade. And so when his arrival appeared, it, just set expectations to a new level. Jaden is obviously a tremendous piece. In fact, he's probably the perfect piece. If you're going to have somebody transfer for the first time under these new rules, I'm not sure you could have a better candidate than Jaden. He is a very, very hard worker, great attitude. Has meshed well in a very short period of time with all of our kids. Is a kid who, is a 40% three-point shooter, but doesn't necessarily demand or command the ball. We have at least 2 or 3 kids that do command a lot of shots, Will being one of them, I think RJ being another, that command the basketball a little bit, and Jace does as well. So to have that kid who is perfectly willing to make the extra pass, do the right things, and then take shot opportunities when they're available at a 40% clip, it helps. There's no doubt it helps our offense and spread the floor. But in regards to expectations, the second that everybody found out who Will Tonigal was, and realized what we have coming back, you couldn't have increased the expectations more than they were already there.
Hey, talk about how cool it is now that your own son, Braden, gets to lead a program of his own there at Tri-High.
Yeah, I don't know. He does. He must not have been paying attention. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously very, very proud of him. His mom's very proud of him. This has been a long struggle for him. He's wanted to be a head coach for a couple of years. He's taken a lot of interviews at different locations and has just not really been given an opportunity, lost a lot of opportunities to already current head coaches. So he just needed one school to give him an opportunity and give him a chance, and Tri was that school. He thinks they have a lot coming back and thinks that they can be very successful, and I know he will be. He's a hard worker, studies film and studies the game, and gets along with people probably a lot better than his dad does. So, I think he's got a bright future for sure. I think he's crazy for getting into the profession, and like I said, I'm not sure he's paid attention at home over the last 20 some odd years, but he's going to do great.
Thank you so much to Coach Renbarger and Grant for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. Hope you guys are having a great time and doing a lot of good down there on your mission trip.
And thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, or follow us if you would like us to continue to bring you great podcasts like this. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.